Okay, so let's start the class. In the last class, we are discussing about the database connections. Now, in this particular class, we are going to work with the dynamic data. So for that purpose, what we have to do, we have to create one particular class, and then we have to run some particular Python command. And these particular Python commands are going to create the database tables. And once the table is created, we need to go to the database. We need to check table is created or not. Then we need to create one admin panel, and by default these admin panels will be available in the Django. To access those admin panels, we need to create the super users, and using the super user we need to access the admin panel. And once we access the admin panel, we need to store some particular data using the admin panel, and then we are going to store the data. After storing the data using the admin panel, again we are going to check in the database it is stored or not. So whatever the data is stored, again we are going to fetch the data from the database using the Python commands, and then we are going to send that particular data to the HTML, and from that HTML we are going to display the data. So this is the process. So let me just write the structure. First of all, this is your particular app folder, and in this particular app folder, here you will be having the models.py file. So this is your models.py file. So this file is responsible for what? To create the classes. To create class. And once we create this particular classes in that, we need to link this particular app folder to where to the project. So this is your project folder. In the project folder, which file? Settings.py file. Okay. So we need to link this project, this particular app with the settings.py file. Okay. So here we'll be having the one more file called in the app. There is called apps.py file. Okay. So here, whenever you create the app.py file will be created, and that particular file command we need to connect. Okay. Next, once you're done with this settings, then what we have to do, you have to run some particular Python command. And using those particular Python command, what will happen? One table is going to be created. Okay. Again, what you do, you run some particular Python command. Okay. After running Python command. So what will happen here? One table will be created here. So here one table will be created. Okay. Using this particular Python command. Once this particular table is created in the database, so this is my database. And once the table is created, what we need to do, we need to create the admin panel. So for those admin panels, again there is a one more particular file will be there, admin.py. Okay. So this file is related to for what purpose? Again in the user interface. Okay. So there is a one more. This will be user interface. Okay. Or front end. this particular, using this particular admin, okay, we are going to access what this particular table information. We're going to access here, accessing the table information. Okay, but for that purpose, we have to write some code in the admin.py file. Okay, so let me just, these are the first step. Okay, where is the first step? This is the first step. Okay, this is the first step. And then making the connection, settings, all these things, dynamic related settings. Okay, because if you're storing the dynamic data, again you have to do some dynamic settings also. Okay, so for that purpose, you have to do the settings in the settings.py file as well as in the url.configuration also. Means urls.py file. In both the files, you have to do the settings. Okay, here also you have to do the settings, and here also two files you have to do the settings. Once you do the settings, all the things are completed, then you are going to run the command and these things are going to be created. Now fourth part, you have to register in the admin.py file, and then you are going to access the information. Once you are accessing the information, here you are going to store some particular data. Again, after storing the data, okay, so here storing the data, this will be the sixth step. Once you store the data, next again you need to recheck, data is stored or not. Seventh step, okay, recheck data stored or not in database. Okay, once it is done, what is the next step? Again we have to go to the app folder. So again, if I write all the lines, it will take lots of thing. Again, let me just write one more structure here. So just assume this is your, again, app folder. In the app folder, again you have to write the views.py file. Okay, so in the eighth step, we are going to access the data from database to the app folder views file. Here we are going to create the objects and accessing the data. Creating object and accessing the data from the database. Okay, once we have accessed the data, again we are going to send the data to the user interface. Okay, after that we are going to send the data from Python files to this particular user interface. Sending the data from Python to HTML and HTML to user interface. Okay, for that purpose, again one HTML folder will become here. Okay, so here one HTML, just assume this is one HTML folder. So here .html file. Okay, so here it will come from here to here and then here to here. So this will be your HTML folder. So this is the structure. Simple concept is there. What actually we are doing, first of all, we have to create the classes and then we have to do the settings and then you have to run the Python command. Then table is created in the databases. Then we are going to create the super users to access the table information. So let me add here, creating super users to access the data. How we are going to access the data? Creating the super user. Okay, to access the admin panel. Okay, so for that purpose, for this admin panel. Okay, so this is our admin panel. This is our admin panel. And once the data is stored, again we are going to recheck data is stored or not. If the data is stored, we are going to fetch the data in the Python format and Python to HTML and HTML to the again the user interface, UI or front end. So let's do the same thing here. So let me just save this particular structure. So here, creating classes, okay, and storing the data in database, or else right, let's start storing data in database and then and fetching the data, fetching the data to user interface. Okay, so entire things. Let me save this and let's go back to our project folder. And where we need to create the classes, we have to go to the models.py file and we just need to delete all these things. So let's delete all. And here we need to create the classes. So let's create one particular class and let's give this name as a courses. And in this, what I wanted to do, I wanted to write some particular courses related data. So here I'm going to, okay, one more thing I wanted to do, I wanted to delete all the particular previous data. Here, here also we need to delete. Okay, and in the HTML also we need to delete those data because we are going to display the fresh data. So I'll delete all these things. It's okay, and here also in index.html also I'm going to delete all the data where it is starting from the table to table. Okay, things data is there. So now we are going to create the fresh data. Now, what are the fields are required? I wanted to store name of the course. I wanted to store description of the course. I wanted to store fees of the course. I wanted to store image of the course. I wanted to add if any offers are there or not for this related course. So these things I wanted to store here, and okay, that's it. When you're practicing, if you wanted to add more fields, you can add more field also. So first of all, what you have to do, you have to import one more particular file, the functions related to the database, particular Django, particular uh, classes. That is the model. So you can see already models imported here. We just need to access this using the models dot model. That's it. Once you import, you just need to mention here models dot function name. How you want it to store. You can see already suggestion is giving. I wanted to store name as a character field. And here I wanted to mention maximum length. I wanted to give 30 characters. Next, description. Description I wanted to add as a text field. So it may be in like unlimited characters you wanted to add. I don't wanted to add any restrictions. Fees I wanted to store as a integer field. Next, image. So image I wanted to store as a image field. So there will be image field will be there. And here I need to mention here where I wanted to uh, store this. So here I need to mention the folder name, like this particular image is going to be stored where. Okay. So for that purpose, I need to mention default, not default. I think I need to mention the upload command string in the suggestion. It is not given. Yeah, it is given upload to any particular folder name. So here I need to mention upload to any particular folder name. So here I'm going to mention something, images folder should be created. Okay. Now next to offer, for offers, I wanted to add the boolean field models dot boolean field, and here default value I wanted to assign as a false. That's it. Okay, so here one class is created here. Now you can see I need to do some particular settings related to this particular class. So first of all, you can see here I'm storing some particular dynamic files, and here I need to do the some settings related to the dynamic files. So where I need to do the settings in the particular project, first of all I need to go to the urls.py file, and here I need to do the settings. So for that purpose I just need to copy paste one command. So here I'm going to open the Django documentation, and in the Django documentation, let's click on the home page, click on the documentation, and here I'm going to write here static files. So here you can see how to manage the static files, and here if I scroll down, serving static files and serving files uploading by a user during the development. So these are the related to the dynamic files only. Okay, and what I need to do here, I just need to mention here these particular commands. So first of all I need to import these two things. Okay, these two particular libraries I just need to import, and just I need to copy paste here. And once I have copy paste, I just need to mention this particular one more command, plus static settings media URL and dynamic root equals to media root. I just need to copy and paste it. That's it. Once I mention here, just save it. And next you have to go to the settings file. Okay, go to the settings file, and here and how we have created the static URL, these things I need to create the dynamic calls also. Okay, so dynamic media files. So for that purpose, here you need to mention how you have mentioned the static URL. Similarly, here you need to mention the media URL. Okay, you need to mention the media URL equals to, here you have to mention just to media. That's it. Okay, and next you have to mention the media root here. Okay, static root is there. Similarly, here you need to mention the media root. Okay, and just copy paste the command media root. And then what you have to mention here, you have to mention the where this particular root is going to be saved. Okay, so here the media root command is mentioned or not, it is not mentioned. Let me just check it here. Media root, if I go to the settings, somewhere it is mentioned or not, default media key options, only database settings are mentioned here. Let's go back and let's check here. Media root and media URL. So if I go back to the media root, they haven't mentioned anything. So you can see URL, the that handles the media serve media route use the managing stored files. If I write here, for example, you can see image is uploaded to this images folder, but how this where the image is going to be saved, I just need to mention the path here. So for that path, they have not mentioned anything. Okay, so let me check our documentation. Okay, so here simply like how we have stored it, like same thing you can mention here. Use the same particular command which I have mentioned in the documentation. Just mention here os path dot join, and then we have to mention the base directory, the folder name, and here I need to create the media folder. That's it. Okay, same command we have used in the template directories also. You can see here os.path.join base directory and pages folder. Similarly, whenever the database is created, you are going to store the images automatically. Dynamic one particular media folder is going to be created. When you do, you'll get the idea. You can see here we have pages, samples, static, and text. And once we create the table, all these things. So here we'll get the one more. That is nothing but the media folder. Okay. So let's save this. Let's save this part also. And next, what we need to do. Let me open the file here. Uh, Class is created. URLs files in the URL setting also, that media settings we have done. We have to done one more, that is the app.py related to the app.py. This URL is completed. App.py. So here, whenever an app is created, you can see if I go back to the sample, you can see there is a app.py will be there, and you can see there is a class is created sample configuration. So I just need to connect this particular sample configuration with the settings file. So where is the settings file? In the settings file, you have here you have the app section will be there. So you can see install apps. So here you need to connect. And how you need to connect? So already what in the documentation command is given here, where I have mentioned the command. Okay, so here you can see you have to mention the app name, app, and app configuration name. Three things you have to mention. App name, what is the app name? App name is sample. Then you have to mention apps. Then you have to mention the class name. The class name is sample configuration. That's it. Just save this part also. Once you do these particular settings, okay, all the settings are done. And what is the required here? Now we need to run the Python command to create the tables. Now you can see here, if I go to my particular server is running successfully. And in the 3DB, if I go to the tables, now you can see here, if I refresh also, you can see nothing is there. Table is empty here. But now once I run this particular command, let me save all the files. Okay, in the URL also, save the files, views, save the files, models, save the files. Okay, and in the result.html also, just need to delete all the things. Okay, and in the views, because we have deleted all those things, I just wanted to delete this part also. Okay, so now let me save all these things and let me just open the terminal. Click on the new terminal. Still loading. Let's click on the new terminal. Editor issue Taking lots of time to load the terminal. Let's try once again. Otherwise, we can write in the same thing in the command prompt also. Taking time. So let's run the same thing in the command prompt. This is our project folder. Now let's open the command prompt here and we can write the same thing in the command prompt. Okay. So what we need to do, the first command we need to mention Python manage.py make migrations. Once I enter this particular command, the migration are going to be started and one migration file is going to be created. So migration files means here you can see here in the sample you will be having the file called migration. In the migration you can see here this file is created. Now you can see if I go back to the, you can see 000 initial.py file. This file is created. Now this file is responsible to create the table in your particular database. But how it is going to create, again we need to run one more particular command. So what is the command again? Here you need to run one more command, python.manage.py sql migrate. Then from which particular app you are going to do the migration? We are going to do the migration from the sample folder. In the sample which file? So 000 one file is created. Now once I here run this, okay, it is going to create the model. And do you wanted to confirm? Commit means confirm. So for that purpose we have one more particular command, that is a migrate. So once you run this particular command, the particular table is going to be created here. And once I run this particular command, now you can see this is the final command. Now you can see here all the particular commands are running. It means table are going to be created here. And if I just go back to my particular table and if I refresh now, so now you can see here, if I run this, now you can see tables are created. Now you can see sample course table also created. And if I go to the view data all rows, now you can see whatever the fields you have created in the models.py file, same fields are available here. Now you can see ID by default it will be created, name, description, fees, image and offers. These are the informations are displaying here. Okay. So that's it for today. Practice these things. In the next class, we are going to complete the remaining part, like we are going to creating the admin panel, we are going to storing the data, and then we are going to display the data from the database to the front end part. Okay, so then that's it for today.